Yes, sir.
There are so many people who leads the associations in India, but Rajesh Nath simply make complete different from all of them. He comes with a lot of passion, 35 years of experience working in Germany, understanding Germany, and then supporting Indian manufacturing with German technologies. So I believe for India, one of the opportunities we got over 35 decades is Rajesh Nath, and a big applause to him.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I must say that we are all here is because of him. And today in this session, I'm so happy. So many German people are here to understand the opportunities what we can give in India. So now we must say 77 years of India's independence. As an Indian, I know it is very tough time for us because 77 is not a year. When we talk about Germany, when we talk about any nations which is developed, we have a lot. Otherwise, there are some countries like Japan which have emerged, just nothing like that. But as a country, we were doing great if we see in the history, but thousands of years of oppression, slavery have created some kind of challenges for us. So when you started promoting Germany in India, and today there is a vast difference. How you were able to make your journey easy in your initial years of taking Germany to India?
Right. Thank you, Hari. Thank you, first of all, for the kind words also. I feel truly humbled. I think I would just like to share my journey, friends. I started with VDMA about 25 years back. So in the mid-90s, when I used to come to our head office in Frankfurt, the trade between the German exports to India that time were about 600 million Deutschmarks, and we had just about maybe 150 VDMA members in India. So the question to me was, yeah, why do you talk about India? Why do we need to come to India? It's a very small market. And Hari, I think if you look at that period to now it's no more a question of why do we need to come to India? We have to be in India, and those are VDMA members who are not in India are asking, where can we position ourselves in India? And also as we look at the development of the German machinery to India, Hari, from that figure of about 400 Deutschmarks, we have crossed 4,200 million euros, which has actually been record figures what the German industry has attained in 2023. And we are quite optimistic even 24 that these figures will increase. And from the 150, 200 odd companies, now as VDMA members, we have about 600 VDMA members present in India, and almost I would say around 200 of them have manufacturing facility in India also. So over the years, the Indo-German trade has been growing very strong, Hari, and I'm sure there is a lot of potential, as Mr. Bashir also mentioned. The bilateral trade has touched about $30 billion, but I think that's just the tip. There is a lot of potential, and I think the figure of 50 billion should certainly be possible by the end of this decade, Hari.
So again, I try to keep Indian market in three separate divisions. One is before 1991, where we seen license Raj, but there were a lot of changes happening time to time. And after 1991, there was an opening of market. And then definitely I will see that last 11 years, from 2014, there is another aggressive way India is getting promoted. Even here in Germany, Make in India was during the Hanover Messe, India got a very big thing. So how difficult it was for German companies, because you told 600 VDMA members, but if you see, there are thousands of German companies working in India. I must say, very strong community in the country, but it never happened just like even that 10 years. They were there. They believed in India from that time. So how do you see the Germans, with all those challenges, were able to make some fundamental work before 1991?
Yeah, very good question. Actually, Hari, if you look at the German industry in India, the Make in India concept was always there for the German companies. We had companies who have been like companies like Siemens, ThyssenKrupp, from the engineering side, who have been in India for very long and have been actually manufacturing in India. Even Sirati Z, for example, they've been in India for a very long time, almost a good, I think, almost touching more than 2 decades or 3 decades now. So we have ample examples of German companies who have been manufacturing in India since many years. And going back to history, friends, a few of you will remember that was in the early 60s. We had one of the steel plants in India, the Rourkela steel plant. In fact, Rourkela steel plant was set up with German aid, with German expertise, with German technical knowledge. And in a small town like Odisha, in Rourkela, which is in Odisha, in the eastern part of India, that time there were about, in the mid 60s, there were 500 Germans who were stationed in Rourkela. And in fact, there is a German club still existing in this small town of Rourkela. So I think the Indo-German relationship have traditionally been very strong. Let me give one more example. Hari, when we know about the IITs. Now IIT Chennai, in fact, Germany has played a very important role in setting up of the IIT Chennai. And Germans have been very closely associated with the IIT Chennai. So I think that way the tradition between Germany and India is a long-lasting, and I think it's based on true friendship. And I think one of the biggest advantages what we have is the so-called Indo-Germanish culture what we have. So I think this is very important for the development of not only the trade, but also the cultural connectivity between India and Germany.
It's a very important point, I believe, and I'm always proud about how we host our guests in India. Aditi Devo Bhava. I don't know how much you people know that. When a guest comes to our house, we don't know how to say no. We make things happen, and that's a hospitality which we are all proud about. But I believe that culture is also creating a little bit challenge of doing business with India and Germany, because I was having a gentleman from South Africa before a couple of weeks in India, and I was talking to him. I asked him that, how you find doing business in India, and he was telling that, he put it in a very nice way. He told that I need to read the real message from the face, from the emotions. And because we don't know how to tell no. That's the truth. But many people do not understand that, and it creates a big gap in trust. Second thing, I asked the same person, which is they do business across the world. Which are the people who find doing business very easy? Germans. Because they're straightforward. They talk business. That's it. Why? Because I speak to many people in Germany, and somewhere they are still not confident of Indians able to do the job. There is a mistrust. I believe, is it because of the culture? What do you feel? Because you talk to more Germans than me and Indians. So,
right. I'll give an example, Hari. What is the basic difference in the German thinking and the Indian thinking? For a German, it's always a straight line. A point, once you have covered the point, that point will not come back again in a straight line. So you think in a monocyclical form. Indians, we think in a polycyclical form. It's like a circle. So a point that once comes would repeat itself in the circle. It's not a straight line. And that's why we believe perhaps in Wiedergeburt. So that rebirth, we are very strong in that belief of rebirth that is happening in India. But I think a very valid point you have raised. Certainly there are some intercultural differences what need to be covered. And as Indians, I think one thing is very good about Germans, they mean what they say. So it's a very clear-cut message. Now, as Indians, sometimes we interpret that message in a different way. And I think that is what is required, that when more and more companies come to, foreign companies or German companies come to India, and Indian colleagues also interacting a lot with the German companies, I think this will all help in better understanding of the culture. And in fact, now there are so many specialists who offer intercultural courses also, which perhaps is not bad. It does give a few important aspects, which I think is very important also from the German side to understand about India, and from the Indian side to understand about Germans. But I'm sure as the trade grows, it will also help in closer intercultural interactions also, Hari.
Yesterday I was talking to one girl. She is an Indian but being here last 7 years, and she was just telling that Germans are like coconuts. From outside, they are very hard, but once you go inside, they are very soft. Soft. I also agree with that, because I have so many friends, and it is not difficult for me to get into a conversation with Germans, and they're very open, they're very sweet. But I don't know how to explain Indians. if you have any, see, it's very easy. That's her experience. What she told, that you have any tips for the Germans?
What I would say, certainly, Hari, as Indians, certainly we are getting more and more. We are playing on the international market. India is also becoming more and more foreign companies are operating in India. And this is, I think, helping the whole ecosystem in India also. The people understanding about Indian culture and doing business. And I think one of the biggest advantages that Indian companies can gain from international players coming in is the whole concept of quality, improving on quality, improving of productivity. And I think as business develops, a lot of issues will also get clarified as more and more business develops between the two countries. But yes, Indians are not easy. There's no way. I think they are complex in many ways. And it's not just since we are such a diverse country. In fact, I think our strength lies in the diversity of our country. Be it north or south, totally different languages, different food. Also in certain parts, religion is totally different. However, despite of having such a diverse population, we are still a country which is growing, and we have a very rich culture and tradition that we must be really proud of, what India has achieved despite of all the diversity. Hari.
I loved this conversation. I believe you all loved it. This was the idea all about. I learned a lot about life. My progress in the last couple of years, I must tell that I learned a lot from Germany. When I came here, when I been in S-Bahn, when I was in ICE, the way the train also gets late, we also have those things there. But that's fine. So there is inferiority, right? Because we don't know how the West works. We always see West in top. But that's nothing wrong. But we also come with rich tradition, as he told, rich culture. But when I came and started learning more, I am also, if you see the kind of my logo, this machine maker, I think I'm also inspired by some German companies, the yellow and black. And later I came to know that it is also there in your flag. But then good things we can learn, blend it into our tradition. As I told you, Aditi Devo Bhava. You go to an Indian, and I'm sure they will first give you a glass of water. They will give you good food, and then diverse way of doing food. If you can understand this, there are so lovely collaborations Indians and Germans have done and made it successful. And I believe this Indo-German collaboration is going to become a strong for the world manufacturing. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you.